Hi everybody, Armored Pants here, welcome back to the channel, and we have another advanced Blitz gaming guide for you. This is more in-game decision making, why we make the decisions we do, what's behind our thinking, and how we become more successful players, because at the end of the day, thinking makes us more successful players. Now, those of you who haven't actually watched this type of video before, it's very simple, right? So basically what we do here is we make it interactive. It's a format which has been really successful and really liked by you subscribers. So if you're new to the video and this format, it's very simple, right? So what I do is I stop the video as we watch the game, and I ask you to take a time out to do a bit of homework. I ask you to pause the video, and I will ask you a question. So, for example, what to do in this particular situation? What would you do, right? So you take a small time out, you hit pause, then you make a either a mental note or a note on a bit of paper as to what you would do in that situation. Then we see if our actions match. I describe why I made the decision, then you compare it to your own thinking, see if we made the right decision or if we did something different, why we did that decision. So the whole idea is to make it interactive as possible, because it seems that this is a much more enjoyable format and a way of learning together. So here's the game. We're going to be playing the Progetto 65. And we're going to be playing on a supremacy game on Dead Rail. Now, this game is a bit of a shard game, and what does it mean by that? Well, a shard is always unexpected, right? And I'm going to do a few unexpected things here, right? But the first task, obviously, is, before we look at the shark tactics here, the first, thing we always do in a game is we look at the setup, and we try to decide what we're going to do based on the setup and what you should be thinking during the setup. So hit pause and think about that, and then I will see you back in play. Welcome back. Well, I hope what you've been doing is counting different tank types, so heavies, fast movers, which will be lights and mediums, and TDs. And based on that, then you should be making your decision as to where you're going to go. Now, normally I would go to C because we have them overloaded. But as I said, this is kind of a shard game. A shard, as we said, is something which always takes you by surprise. By the way, my son learned a very valuable lesson the other day, and that was never, ever trust a fart. Now, as we said, a shard is something which takes us all by surprise, because if it didn't take us by surprise, we wouldn't actually ever shard ourselves. Now, I've come to B, and I am now capturing B. So the question is what to do next, right? So should I continue to capture the B? Should I push on to spot some more? What would you do? So hit pause, and I will see you back in play in a few seconds. Welcome back. Well, obviously this is a supremacy game, and as we've said many times on channel, right, supremacy is like your pension, right? The sooner you start collecting those points, or money in the case of your pension, the better it's going to be in the long run, right? So now I've captured B. Now we know where the enemy is. We spotted up the heavies. We know where the lights. We know where the TD is. What would you do next? So hit pause, have a think about that, and I'll see you back in play. Welcome back. Well, what I decide to do here is not go towards C, but actually I decide to do something, again, something like a shard, something very unexpected. I'm going to push on towards the back of the map, and the reason being I want to get to this situation here where I'm making sure that I've spotted, because remember, know your tank is key, and the prog has this fantastic view range, is making sure that there's nobody sitting at the back of the map. I don't think there is. I've checked the mini-map, but now I'm double checking. So now that I know that, what to do next? So hit pause again, and I'll see you back in a few seconds, and we'll have a look at the next key decision. Welcome back in play. So what I decide to do is I decide what could be called the unwelcome guest. Basically somebody who does something completely unexpected, comes in, causes a lot of trouble, fucks everything up, and then pisses off. And that's exactly what I do here, right? You know, this is unexpected, right? Nobody expects a medium tank to come around behind the heavies like this, put himself into the danger zone and unload into them. Now that I've done that and I've fired off my 3 shells in my magazine, what to do next? So hit pause, have a think about that, and I will see you back in play. Well, just as every unwanted guest at a party should do, I decide to fuck off nice and early. And I use the speed of the tank to climb out of this position. I don't take any damage whatsoever. And I'm going to come around again. And like that unwanted guest, I'm going to make a reappearance, right? So, but where should I make that reappearance? Should I go back to the same party or should I join another party? So have a think about that. Hit pause and I'll see you back in play in a few seconds, guys. Welcome back. Well, like that fucking annoying unwanted guest, I'm going to go back to the same party and piss everybody off again. What I do here is, rather than just putting shots into him, I'm carefully selecting my shots and I track him once, not once, but twice. And basically he's used up both his repair kits. Now he's running 2 repair kits. I back off. And now I've done a great job for my team. But what next? Should I stay here and let my heavies clear up in front of me? Or should I go and help them out? So have a think about that. Hit pause and I'll see you back and play in a few seconds. Welcome back. So I decide to go and support my heavies. I'm going to come around behind these heavies, the red heavies, and see if I can support my green heavies by taking them out. Come along. As it happens, I don't get a chance to take any of them out. But the objective of the game is to clear off those red guns, and that's what we've done. And now I'm in a very good position here. I'm loading up my magazine to its full capacity again, and I'm in a position to capture the base. But we see here the T-62 is coming along to take on the Waffle Tractor, so the key decision is go and help or stay and capture the base. What would you do? Have a think about that and I'll see you back in play. Well, I decide to stay and capture the base because this is supremacy, and as I said, capturing the base is key. And so many players lose games in supremacy by not capturing the base. We've discussed that many times on channel. But as I said, think of supremacy like your pension, right? I know that's a very mature thing to talk about, but we all eventually get old. Some of us are getting there a lot earlier than others. So, unlike your pension, you should invest as early and as often as possible. Get those points up so that you don't lose games based on points, because it's gone down to 3v3 here. Now, if I had gone to help the Waffle Tractor, yes, I may have been able to save him, or I may not. But we would now be at 1 base each and it would put more pressure on us. So next thing is we know now where the T-62 is and what to do here, right? So what I wanted to do was to pause the game here a little bit, because I want you to look at the aspect I'm taking versus the T-62. I'm using the natural contours of my tank to ensure that he can't hit me. He fluffs his shot like this. So basically it's understanding the terrain, understanding the shape of your tank, and making a tank position vis-a-vis the enemy where they can't hit you. Now I want to slow this down so you can have a look at it again. As I always say, you should run vertical stabilizer when you're on a medium or light tank, because it allows you to make shots like this. As the name suggests, it stabilizes the gun when the tank is moving. So if I'm using a TD or a heavy, I don't use it, but when I'm using a fast moving tank, I do, because of that reason you just witnessed there on the shot in the T-62A. Now, another key decision is coming up here, and this is maybe the last key decision in the game. The Sheridan is coming here. Do I engage the Sheridan or do I push on and engage the Waffle Tractor? So hit pause, have a think about that, and I'll see you back in play. Well, I decide on what is the more difficult option, which is to go and engage the Sheridan. Why is that? Well, you always need to be cognitive and aware of the remaining tanks on both sides in the game. And I am the only fast moving tank left on my team. If I let that Sheridan get away, he has a very powerful gun that can do a lot of damage, plus he's really fast. And if I go after the Waffle Tractor and if I get taken out, then they may win this game because my heavies won't be able to engage him. But I go after him because that is my responsibility as the only fast moving tank left on my team. And matching your opponent's strengths and weaknesses is also a key part of decision making in game. And if you are the only light or fast tank left on your team, you have responsibility to match up to your peers in the opposing team. Otherwise you can end up losing games that you should win, particularly on Supremacy, where a Sheridan can get around the map and cause all sorts of damage by capturing bases and ambushing tanks with that view range and that light tank camo that he has. But I think overall a good example of decision making within the game, why those decisions were made, doing the unexpected, taking the fight to the enemy and delivering a mastery badge and a nice win for your team. Probably the only controversial decision was maybe not going to help the waffle tractor, but I gave you the reasons for that. I think if you did go to help them, that would also be a pretty good decision. So, hope you enjoyed it, hope you found it useful, and now I guess all that remains for me to say is, cheers Mush, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and as always, pants off.
That's all, folks.